This morning, new polling showing Wisconsin's Senate rate is getting tighter. But is this common for the Badger State with the election just around the corner? Plus, how a local nonprofit is grappling with a cut in funding and how you can help. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in on a Monday. I'm Chris Stanford. Kyrian Lee is off today. Boy, pretty lousy weather yesterday. We are talking about colder weather this morning. Savannah Brito out on the patio. What is it, 40-something degrees out there this morning? Yeah, temperatures are only in the lower 40s early this morning, and I still think we're going to see those continue to fall at least for the next about hour and a half, maybe as long as 2 hours. And these numbers are not as cool as what we're going to see tonight or even Tuesday night, especially Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's when widespread frost is actually likely all across the area. We're hanging on to 42 still in Madison. That's still cooler than when we started our show off at 4:30. You can really see where the cooler air is. We do have some areas that are down to the mid to even upper 30s. Most of us falling into the mid 30s tonight, and then might not even have areas ranging around that 30-degree mark tomorrow night into Wednesday. We had really breezy conditions yesterday into this morning. Those wind gusts early were up to about 30-35 miles per hour. Those are going to continue to decrease. We still do have wind gusts that are reaching about 20-25 miles per hour. And there is a wind chill, but those won't be as strong as we had for Monday afternoon compared to what we just had yesterday. Isolated showers later this afternoon into the evening, and then cooler temperatures on the way even for tomorrow. We'll talk about that frost that we could see, which nights are more and more likely, and also the warm up that could be in sight the next couple of days, or when specifically that's going to reach in here. That's coming up a little later. All right, Savannah, thank you. 2R3 for the People coverage now. Wisconsin continues to be a popular spot for campaign visits this week. Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Tim Walz will be in the state today. He's expected to speak in Eau Claire and Green Bay. There's his wife, Gwen Walz. So Tim Walz will help kick off a bus tour of Democratic governors to support his campaign. Also in the state today, in Madison, First Lady Jill Biden. She'll be speaking in the city to discuss reproductive rights and the economy. The campaign, though, has yet to announce exactly when and where she'll speak. Vice President Harris is set to visit the state on Thursday. She will stop in Milwaukee, La Crosse, and Green Bay. This will be her 6th visit to the state since becoming the presidential nominee. No Republican visits scheduled this week for the presidential campaign yet. But during a campaign visit in Arizona, former President Trump proposing hiring 10,000 additional Border Patrol agents. Those agents would get a signing bonus and a $10,000 retention bonus. It comes after he had derailed the bipartisan bill that would include more funding for Border Patrol. Meantime, Wisconsin's Senate race brought the state to the political center of the country this week. That's because polls that once showed Democrats way ahead now shows that edge has deteriorated. The Senate race, now a, quote, toss-up. On For the Record, our Will Keneally spoke to Jessica Taylor, who covers Senate races, to learn just how close it is.
This race is within the margin of error in a host of polling that we have seen. Our own survey that we did at the Cook Political Report as part of our swing state project that we did in conjunction with a Democratic pollster, BSG, and a Republican pollster, GS Strategies, found that this was the closest Senate race among the blue wall states, that we found it at 49% for Tammy Baldwin to 47% for Eric Hovde. And that was a huge tightening since it was a 7-point race when we had last polled that in August.
She adds that it's rather typical that Wisconsin's races get close as the election nears. Wisconsin is typically a state that's very evenly divided. Meantime, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County helping thousands of youth across the greater Madison area. They're one of many local organizations, though, that's impacted by post-pandemic funding cuts. The organization relies on an impact grant from the United Way of Dane County. But Boys and Girls Club CEO learned it'll be cut by 35%.
$35,000 to some people may not sound like a lot of money, but for a program like ours, it's a significant amount of cash. I don't want to cause any panic right now, but it could be a reduction in some program services. I'll meet with anybody that's willing to invest in our kids.
The United Way says they have 10% less money to distribute. They also want to make sure that organizations that receive funding get what they need. They're also funding 17 additional organizations compared to last year. Now to the Middle East here at 6:04. The Pentagon says that it will send an advanced anti-missile system to Israel along with U.S. troops to operate it. They say it's to help bolster Israel's air defense. It comes after Iran's attacks against Israel on April 13th and again on October 1st. It's not the first time the U.S. has deployed the system, but the deployment of U.S. troops to Israel is notable amid heightened tensions in the region. A Hezbollah drone strike in Israel has left over 60 people injured and 4 soldiers dead. It's the deadliest strike by the militant group since Israel launched its ground invasion in Lebanon nearly 2 weeks ago. Israel says that with its advanced air defense system, it's rare for so many people to be injured by drones or missiles. Meanwhile, in Gaza, a hospital says an Israeli strike killed 3 people and left as many as 50 others injured near the medical facility. It caused tents to catch fire and residents carried injured to the hospital while dozens rushed to the building for shelter. The Israeli army says it conducted a precise strike on Hamas militants. It comes after an Israeli strike killed at least 20 people, including children, at a school. Now to hurricane relief efforts in the South. President Biden announcing hundreds of millions of dollars in new aid for Florida. He visited St. Petersburg over the weekend, calling the damage cataclysmic. The massive cleanup effort after both hurricanes are underway. In some areas, boats replaced cars as a means for transportation. Hundreds of lives lost between the 2 storms, including more than 20 from Hurricane Milton. Many are still in the dark and struggling to find fuel.
Help isn't coming fast enough, it seems. It just doesn't seem like it's coming fast enough.
Meanwhile, Homeland Security warning the agency is running out of relief funds for FEMA, adding that hurricane season is not over yet, and river levels are expected to continue to rise the next several days, leading to more flooding in an area still struggling to keep their head above water. That's right. The hurricane season is not over, Savannah.
Yeah, we still have about 6 weeks that runs through November 30th. So hoping that we don't see any more major hurricanes. But, you know, the National Weather Service and a lot of forecasters were saying that this is going to be a more above average season.
Right.
Yeah.
It's important not to forget about the folks in Florida and across the Southeast who are still recovering from those 2 destructive hurricanes.
Absolutely. Donate money if you can. There's sites up on websites all across the United States on where and how you can do that.
Including our section at channel3000.com, which has already raised several $1,000s.
Yes, so thank you to everyone who has donated to help Florida and all the areas hard hit. But rain here, we are going to see some scattered showers later in the day. This is the rainfall forecast over the next 7 days. We'll talk about which days are looking more and more likely of rain and when we could see some widespread frost across southern Wisconsin.
Also ahead, we're helping celebrate the historic apples of Sauk Prairie this morning. We're going to learn the story behind them and the importance here in the 608.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning, brought to you by Toyota.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Stanton Optical believes eye care should be affordable. Right now, for only $135, you get 2 pairs of progressives, plus all this. All that costs over $200 everywhere else. Book your eye exam today. Stanton Optical, easy's our thing. Welcome to Too Good to Guess. Can you guess how much 2 pairs of progressives, a free eye exam, and anti-glare lens upgrade will cost at Stanton Optical? Only $135? Wow, a deal so good, every customer wins. Book your eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
Right now, pet dander
Skin cells, mold spores, pollen, and dirt are being sucked into your air ducts. Get cleaner air and system efficiency now with Stanley Steamer. For over 75 years, we've continually engineered our equipment and processes to deep clean your entire home. Your air ducts aren't clean until they're Stanley Steamer clean.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
After my son was born, I was having a hard time leaving him, only being able to see him once before going to work and then once before bed. That's just not enough time.
At my old job, my entire check went to daycare to pay to be away from my child. We bring our kids with us in the mornings and they ride with us on our routes and then they go to school.
I'm on a route where I'm the one dropping my kids off at school. It's been phenomenal.
Being able to bring them with me has been really great for our family.
Billionaire banker Eric Hovde has a plan for Social Security.
Do you favor either raising the retirement age or cutting benefits?
I favor both.
Raising the retirement age?
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Hovde wants to raise the retirement age as high as 72. And Hovde just proposed cutting Social Security by 28%, costing the average beneficiary more than $6,000 a year. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Are record high energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
You know, fall is in the air. It could also be the scent of pumpkin bread, muffins, and of course, pumpkin pie. All recipes that depend on a little can of pumpkin. Our Michelle Renee Quinn here this morning with what you're really putting in those tasty fall treats this time of year. Good morning.
Good morning. And yeah, it might be a silly question, Chris, but do you really know what's in the can? Consumer Reports lifts the lid to reveal what's really in your can of supermarket pumpkin.
Just like a jack-o'-lantern, some pumpkins can wear a disguise. There's a secret hiding in this can. You probably expect there to be pumpkin inside, right? But don't be scared. Instead, it's more likely to contain a variety of squash like these.
Even if the can says 100% pumpkin, it's probably a mix of pumpkin and other golden squash, which is actually denser and sweeter. The FDA has allowed it to be called pumpkin since 1938.
But this trick is still a treat. Honestly, you probably can't tell the difference because it's the spices you add like cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves that give your baked goods the delicious pumpkin spice flavor. And enjoying pumpkin is a good thing.
Whether it's fresh or canned, pumpkin and squash are super healthy. They're rich in antioxidants, and 1 cup has as much vitamin A as you need in a day or more.
Don't feel bad about choosing canned pumpkin over fresh. A cup of canned has twice as much fiber as fresh pumpkin and is loaded with iron. But whatever you do, don't confuse canned pumpkin with canned pumpkin pie mix. Pumpkin pie mix can have about 48 grams of added sugars per cup. And pumpkin doesn't just need to be for dessert.
Pumpkin can be a great addition to your morning smoothie. Drop in a few tablespoons with some Greek yogurt, a banana, a little milk, and some cinnamon. It's a healthy and delicious start to your day.
This is Michelle Renee Quinn.
So squash pie doesn't exactly have the same appetizing ring to it.
No, it doesn't.
But it sure still has a good taste. So.
It's fascinating. I had no idea. But some of the health benefits, you know, that's wonderful. All the fiber and extra minerals and everything.
Are you going to be trying a pumpkin smoothie in the morning?
I've had it before.
Okay.
But you're freezing up chunks of like pumpkin that came out of the garden and then pureeing that in a smoothie. It's a little stringy.
Oh.
So like the canned stuff, yeah. If you're it might be better for the texture.
Okay.
All right. Good stuff this morning. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, 6:14 in the 608 this morning. We're helping celebrate Sauk Prairie's historic apples and the positive impact in the community over the years. Josh Breiter's live in Prairie du Sac this morning with the story. Good morning, Josh.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Good to see you this morning. And we've got a great story for you right behind Sauk Prairie Healthcare this morning. We're helping to celebrate the historic apples of the area. And this morning we have the director of the foundation, Todd Werger, joining us. Todd, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Josh. Thanks for being here.
Yes, you bet. It's a little bit of a chilly morning, but we're braving it out for good reason this morning.
That's right. Well, first off, thanks for recognizing this project. The hospital decided that we would accept these apple trees. There's a very big historic legacy background behind them. They used to live once upon a time on the Badger ammunition plant. We were contacted by conservationist Kurt Miney, just asked if we would be willing to accept these trees. We said absolutely. It's important to honor the legacy of this project, this community. A number of those farmstead owners had property here. And so we said, yeah, we'll get behind that.
This is so cool, and we're getting prepared to actually plant another tree here this morning. We're going to hope to do that here around 6:45, but let's talk a little bit about the importance, because obviously you can tell the healthcare center right behind us. I mean, this is a big deal for this area.
It really is. I mean, this hospital continues to remain independent, and we want to stay that way. And so we are going to embark on a capital campaign in the coming months to expand on our current operations. Really important to meet the health and wellness needs of this community. So planting these trees are a symbol of life, apples are a symbol of health, and so it really connects us well with the community.
You know, let's talk a little bit about the significance of these trees themselves too, because there are a lot of them in the area. I know you're holding an apple in your hand. This is from tree 179.
179.
So there are a lot of trees around here.
Oh, there really are. We have, well, this will be the 8th one, and it really fits into the overall landscaping additions that we want to do on this campus. When people come here for care, one of the things we hear a lot about is how when they come here, they can look out the window, they see the prairie grass. It's just a beautiful setting. It helps with overall healing. So again, apple trees will fit in very nicely with this.
That is so cool, and I just love to see the history right here on this land from, I mean, way back when. It was so many families ago that this is the reason you guys are here now.
Yeah, you know, over 100 years ago, or 80 years ago, these farmstead owners were displaced from their properties, and so they all left. And now this is, again, a chance to reconnect these families with these trees that were propagated and basically allowed to continue to live on.
So I want to talk a little bit about this golden shovel up here, because this is a special shovel and you brought it out for this occasion. So let's talk about this shovel.
All right, let's talk about the golden shovel. So it's been sitting in my office for the last 6.5 years. Basically, this shovel was used for the groundbreaking ceremony back in 2012. So this campus was built back in opened in 2014, but this is one of the shovels that was used for the groundbreaking ceremony. So how fitting it would be to plant an apple tree, right, Josh?
This is such a cool story. It's like full circle. Yeah, we're going to try using that coming up here around 6:45. But, you know, if people are interested in helping you guys out here at the foundation, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, you know, there's a variety of ways that you can support the hospital through the foundation. We take in volunteers to help us out. We have a lot of volunteers that help us run the operation, but financially as well. Any gift size, it doesn't matter, but just showing that connection and that support for the hospital and the future of it, and
awesome.
Continue to remain independent.
Oh, Todd, thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're welcome. Well, thanks for being here.
Yes, you bet. We're going to have all this up on channel3000.com. Chris, I've got the golden shovel in hand. We're going to plant that tree coming up around 6:45 and talk a little bit more about that history and impact right here in the 608. A fun story this morning.
Sounds like a plan. All right, Josh Sprider, tell the folks there hi for us. If you have an idea for Josh's in the 608 segment, reach out and let him know about it. Let's check in with Savannah Brito now. She's here with your first one forecast. Yeah, you saw Josh out there with the hat and the puffy coat on, because it's a chilly start to the day.
Yeah, you will want the hat, maybe even the gloves if you're not planning on that this morning, because you see temperatures are still in the 40s. We're not going to see that all morning. I still think most of us are going to get down into those upper 30s, so still falling over the next about hour and a half. And then that's not even the coldest night that we're forecasting. Daytime highs are only going to achieve the lower 50s at best today. Forecast high today in Madison later, 52. Right now we're mostly clear. That's not going to be the case all day. We turn over to mostly cloudy skies, and then check it out north of here, those blues and pinks on radar. That's wintry precipitation or a mix. I don't think, watch what it does as it travels into warmer air. Most of that changes over to green, or even those yellows, pockets of heavier showers across Madison and Milwaukee. So we are going to see isolated to scattered showers later this afternoon into tonight. I do think a couple areas mainly just going to see those showers. And then tomorrow we're going to actually see cooler weather. That settles in for the next couple of days. Tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, our coolest nighttime temperature and forecast, at least overnight low. All of that is west of here right now. There are freeze watches in place for portions of northern Illinois. So southern Wisconsin not included in that yet. That's because all of those areas mainly west of here and across the Great Plains, that's the coolest weather they're seeing either this morning or what's forecast tonight into early tomorrow morning. As that air does move in here, we will see some kind of alert get put in place. Probably today, tomorrow at the latest, because widespread frost that's possible as early as tonight. That'll be more likely, though, Tuesday night into Wednesday when temperatures are going to fall even more. The forecast low here in Madison, 30 degrees that night. That will be the coolest overnight low. We get back to some nights in the 40s, which will be similar to what we're waking up with this morning. We have a couple days in the 60s and then could even be 70 by Saturday and Sunday. That won't last long either, though.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Coming up in our next half hour, our Michelle Renee Quinn is going to be back to show us how to fill out your absentee ballot ahead of the deadline.
Closed captioning sponsored by Community Shares of Wisconsin's Workplace Giving Campaign.
Don't miss the final weeks of A1 Furniture's huge store closing sale. Everything must go by October 30th. Huge selection still available, but it won't last long. Our lowest prices ever. Final weeks on now, only at A1 Furniture's store closing sale.
4 years ago, in this alley, rioters threw a brick at my face and knocked out my teeth. Why? Because I was a police officer. And what did Kamala Harris do? While America's cities were burning, Kamala was defending peaceful protest. She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding our police, making us all less safe. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Shop the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. Lease a new Silverado 1500 starting at $355 a month, or a 24 Equinox EV starting at $299 a month. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromMadison.com.
These Baldwin ads are nasty.
I can't stand them.
She never tells the truth. Now she says Eric Hovde wants to raise the retirement age.
That's malarkey.
I saw in the news Social Security will be going bankrupt in 8 years.
Are you kidding? We need Social Security.
You're surprised? Washington spends money like crazy.
And Baldwin supports all of it.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
You better get a job.
You get a job.
Prices are up, wages are down, inflation is crushing Wisconsin families. Yet Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Even more radical, Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. Tax hikes and higher prices for families and those living on fixed incomes. That's Kieski's record. Expensive and extreme. Reject Sarah Kieski and her radical agenda.
Create your perfect room for entertaining, relaxing, and more with patio enclosures. Right now, get 25% off your sunroom. Plus, enjoy exceptional financing. Call today. Patio enclosures.
The Madison Club, providing you with outstanding cuisine, extraordinary service, and an experience like you won't find anywhere else in town. Join today.
Don't miss the final weeks of A1 Furniture's huge store closing sale. Everything must go by October 30th. Huge selection still available, but it won't last long. Our lowest prices ever. Final weeks on now, only at A1 Furniture's store closing sale.
Well, welcome back. This picture, it's from Gwen. She says lions and tigers and zinnias. Oh my, it's at the Henry Vilas Zoo. Wow.
Lovely photo. Like, they'd love to see the, we were just talking about the flowers on our set here.
Yeah.
Holding on.
I know. I say they got a week. Michelle Renee's like, nah, I don't think so.
Betcha.
What kind are these?
Ooh.
These yellow ones are chrysanthemums.
Yes,
not
that's
to
what
be
I thought.
confused with Chris Stanford mums.
You say it fast, it sounds the same.
It does. It does. All right, Gwen, thanks for that picture. Trending this morning, SpaceX, engineers did something rather remarkable for the first time yesterday. Look at this. So they've been working on new technology and improved engineering to reuse a lot of their equipment. And they caught the Starship's main booster after it took off for a test flight yesterday. It just snatched that thing right out of midair. It's 230 feet tall. I can't imagine what it weighs, but they just, it went right in where it was supposed to. And they used their big metal chopsticks to squeeze it together.
So is that like pre-programmed, or is there like somebody in a control
Asking the
room
wrong
there?
person.
I wonder how they do that. Very cool, though.
Yeah, look at it. Look at the
Everyone's cheering.
Yeah, the SpaceX folks going crazy after a successful mission there. How about this? Crocs for your dog.
Or cat.
Or cat. There we go. So they're debuting later this month as part of the annual Croctober campaign. So starting October 23rd, pet Crocs are going to be available for a limited time in 2 colors, green slime and pink dragon fruit. And you know what? Pet owners can get matching pairs if they want to go in style with their furry friends.
Have to ask, are you guys a Croc person?
Oh,
do you have
yes.
Crocs?
Yes, ma'am. You
do?
ain't rocking if you ain't crocking.
I don't have
Chris,
Crocs.
are you crocking? Oh,
I got-
gosh, you guys aren't rocking?
I got some Crocs.
Oh, Chris is
I know.
rocking.
I got
Man, I'll do better.
Oh, we have rain in the forecast later today. We'll talk about what areas could even see snow overnight.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
My name is Bill. I am retired. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I live here in Wisconsin. I am not a political person, but Eric Hovde doesn't understand how important Social Security and Medicare are around here. I'm on Social Security, and Hovde said he absolutely supported cuts to Social Security and Medicare. Imagine working longer, paying into the system, and then poof, you're paying your bills with less. He knows it. Cutting Social Security and Medicare will cost us. He just doesn't care.
WIN Senate is responsible for the content of this message.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
You heard him.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
What would Eric Hovde do in the Senate? Mitch McConnell and extremists would gain a majority. The power to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape or incest. Criminal penalties for doctors. More extreme anti-abortion judges on the courts.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
Building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Compare that to Trump. He fights for himself and his billionaire friends. He intends to enact a national sales tax, the Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle class families by $4,000 a year. Instead of a tax hike, we will pass a middle class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
rich, indulgent chocolate with a luscious caramel filling. Discover Ghirardelli caramel squares in a bag and a bar. Makes life a bite better.
When a crane collapsed during construction of a Major League sports stadium, 3 workers lost their lives. Their widows called us. When maintenance workers were permanently injured by an industrial accident at a public utilities power plant, the 7 injured workers called us. When a factory exploded, injuring dozens of workers, 18 victims, including all 3 families of men who lost their lives, called us. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Right now, what you need to know about voting absentee and the deadline for requesting such a ballot. Plus, hear from the Madison mayor on the recent issues with bus rapid transit, when those buses could get back on the road. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning here on a Monday. I'm Chris Stanford. Kyrian Lee is off today. We have some cold air out there this morning. After a crummy day on Sunday, we're talking about the cooler weather. Let's check in with Savannah Brito. She's out on the patio this morning. Let us know what we can expect today. Hey there.
Hey, good morning. Temperatures are off to a cooler start compared to the last few days, but not as cool nor as low as what we'll see them fall to tonight and Tuesday night. So the next couple of mornings are going to be even chillier than what we have right now. We're still at 42, not bad. I still think we're going to see temperatures fall through about 8:30, and then we'll see temperatures warm. Not a lot, though. In fact, from where we're sitting right now, we're only going to see temperatures warm another 10 degrees. And it was very breezy yesterday and overnight. Those winds actually going to come down, only ranging between about 15 to 20 miles per hour. So yes, it'll still be breezy. Winds will still be a little bit of a factor, just not in comparison to how strong they were yesterday and even overnight. This is where we're sitting right now, 7 miles per hour in Madison, 10 in Janesville. They're actually calm, though, up in Black River Falls. That's where cooler temperatures are found early this morning. Rain's actually in the forecast later across central Illinois and then southern Illinois. I think that'll mainly be rain, but even some snow and mixed precipitation is possible well north of here, kind of up by Rhinelander, so in northern Wisconsin and the UP. But this is the rainfall forecast over the next 7 days. A little bit, we'll talk about a day besides today into tonight that we could see more rain in the future forecast. Chris.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Well, today marks 4 years since a murder at Devil's Lake State Park. Authorities have yet to identify a suspect. Despite over 100 tips and hundreds of interviews, the case remains a mystery. It was on this date in 2020. A hiker found the body of 24-year-old John Smutzer. Smutzer was from Wauwatosa and had graduated from UW-Madison. Authorities believe the killer blindsided him in a random attack. In 2021, investigators told News 3 Now over a dozen witnesses all reported seeing the same man in the area at the time of the murder, and that man is still believed to be on the loose. In the meantime, the Sauk County Sheriff's Office is still looking for information in this case. If you have any, call the Crime Stoppers number on your screen, 888-847-7285, excuse me. If you've given information in the past and have not heard back, call the detectives' numbers on your screen. A Sun Prairie man in custody this morning accused of driving his car into the Yahara River. It happened Saturday night off Riverside Drive at Jennifer Street. Take a look. Crews spending much of the day yesterday pulling the car out of the water. Madison police discovered the driver of the car was someone that they'd helped bring home the previous night. They arrested the man for OWI and gave 2 other citations. A Watertown man's in custody this morning for driving nearly 100 miles an hour on the interstate while intoxicated. The State Patrol says it happened Sunday morning on I-94 near Highway 26. The driver was going 97 in a 70-mile-per-hour zone. Troopers arrested the driver for speeding, OWI, and other offenses. To our 3 for the People coverage now. Dr. Jill Biden will speak in Madison today. She is set to discuss reproductive rights and the economy. The campaign has yet to release exactly when and where she'll speak, though. It's the First Lady's 3rd visit to the state this year. She's been to Waukesha and Green Bay. It'll be her first visit since her husband, President Biden, dropped out of the race. Madison's bus rapid transit system is 3 weeks old now. It's been quite an adjustment for both commuters and the city. On the city side, it's caused some issues with the buses. Last week, we told you about some route cancellations and delays because of issues with the chargers for the electric buses. These hiccups, along with communication issues, have left riders frustrated. On For the Record, we asked the Madison mayor about where the city's at with maintenance.
I will say that the manufacturer, New Flyer, has I think at least a dozen people on the ground with us right now, working through and making sure that every single bus gets checked, gets fixed if it needs to be fixed, before it goes back out on the road.
And prognosis, how long will we see some of these lines canceled?
I think we're looking at probably the end of the month, so early November, but you know, it's just about working through each single bus and making sure that it's in good shape.
We also asked the mayor about the city's operating referendum and her budget proposals. You can hear about that and watch the full For the Record broadcast on channel3000.com. You have less than 3 weeks to request an absentee ballot. The deadline is Thursday, October 31st at 5 p.m. Our Michelle Renee Quinn previously showed us how to request an absentee ballot, and now she's here to show us how to fill it out. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. Once you've received your ballot by mail, you should have 3 items: an official ballot, your voting instruction sheet, and a postage paid ballot envelope for returning it. Now, as an absentee voter, you will need a witness to verify you filled out your own ballot. They don't have to know who you're voting for, but they do need to be 18 years or older and a U.S. citizen. They cannot be a candidate in the upcoming election. Now, to fill out your ballot, you're going to need a black or blue pen. If you make a mistake, don't use whiteout or try to erase it. Rather, contact your clerk and they can send you a replacement if necessary. It's important to note that ballots might look slightly different depending on where you live due to local elections. Once you've cast your vote, review it, put it in the envelope, and seal it. No postage is required. But you're not done yet. You have to fill out and sign the sealed ballot envelope. Your witness must sign and address it as well. Once the process is complete, it's time to return your ballot. Log on to myvote.wi.gov to find your designated in-person absentee return location. You can also use it to track the status of your ballot. If you plan to vote by mail, fill it out and return it ASAP. Your ballot must arrive at your municipal court building by 8 p.m. Election Day. If you mail your ballot back, it can take up to 7 days to make it, so be sure to send it back as soon as possible.
If people have any additional questions, where should they go for answers?
Absolutely. They should definitely log on to myvote.wi.gov. That's where you can find out if your ballot's made it back, if you mailed it, or if you're turning it in person. You could also find out where those locations are.
All right, Michelle Renee, thank you.
Absolutely.
6:36 now. In other news this morning, election officials are expecting a large number of mail-in votes this November. And counting them is a lengthy process, especially true in Pennsylvania. That's because a state law delays counting mail-in ballots until the morning of Election Day. In 2020, news outlets didn't call Pennsylvania until the Saturday after the election. On 60 Minutes, an elections administrator showed another time-consuming element of vote counting.
So when we do open it, there is another envelope. So hypothetically speaking, if we have 100,000 mail-in ballots, we have to deal with double the amount of envelopes, which is a long process. And then the ballot comes out.
And you can't count it folded like that.
Correct. We will need to have a whole different team unfold them, backfold them, to get the creases out as good as we can.
There have been calls to change Pennsylvania law to allow processing mail-in ballots. The state's divided legislature, though, has prevented this from happening. State election officials are calling for patience in this year's election. To the Packers now. They have back-to-back wins this morning. This time it was against the Arizona Cardinals at Lambeau Field. Wide receiver Romeo Doubs back after his 1-week suspension. More on him in a bit. Packers looking to score on the opening drive. Jordan Love back to pass. And he finds Jaden Reed on the right side. He'd take it in. 7-0 Packers. Great start that they were looking for. Second quarter, same score. Love this time to Doubs. Romeo Doubs is going to take a nice little move there and get into the end zone. Doubs will score another touchdown of the day as well. Pack up 17-0 at that point. To the third, up 17-0 now. Love, fake handoff, drops back. Downfield, all the time in the world for this throw. He finds Christian Watson for the 44-yard score. Love throwing 4 touchdowns on the day. That's the first time any Packers quarterback has done that in successive home games since Brett Favre. Final 34-13.
The effort from start to finish, the focus from start to finish was exactly what is a great formula for winning football. I mean, we were +2 in the takeaway battle. All in all, I thought it was pretty efficient, really, in every phase of the game.
And defense looked outstanding yesterday. So the next opponent for the Packers, the Texans. Packers will host that one at Lambeau. It's a noon kickoff. How'd your Bears look yesterday? I didn't get a chance to watch or see any highlights. I know they got the win, though.
Yeah, they were in London. It was a really early game. I watched, I think, second quarter through the rest, and it was a pretty good game. I mean, Caleb Williams did really good. The Bears defense did great. We went, I think, 35, and then I can't remember the final end score, but we won.
That's what matters. That's what matters in the end. The NFC North is just looking fantastic right now. You've got 3 teams with 4 wins.
Great.
The Vikings are undefeated still. Boy, so it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, you're wearing your Packers green this morning. Yeah. I need to get an orange dress. I don't have any orange, so we'll get a Bears dress in here for all the Bears fans. There's probably more Packers fans that are watching right now.
We'll throw a green one in there.
Yeah, I have
just
green.
To mix it up.
I have 2 greens.
Okay.
I do have a Packer green dress.
All right.
Well, we're tracking some rain, green on radar later, and there's even some snow up north of here that's going to move in. For us, I just think we're talking about rain here, which is good news. I don't know who's ready for snow yet.
We're live in Prairie du Sac this morning, helping celebrate the historic apples of Sauk Prairie. Just ahead, we're going to plant an apple tree, talk a little bit about the significance and why this is so important right here in the 608.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
Ready to embark on an exclusive journey into the lives of UW's top athletes? News 3 Now sports director Zach Hanley takes you inside Wisconsin Huddle, a one-of-a-kind 30-minute weekly special. It's more than just highlights. It's more than X's and O's. It's an inside look into the world of Big Ten college athletes, from their journey to Madison to insights on how they prepare for competition. Watch Wisconsin Huddle Friday nights at 6:30 on WISC-TV. Brought to you by TDS Telecom.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
To build the Honda CR-V Hybrid, we took everything you love about the CR-V and kicked it up a notch with greater power for a CR-V unlike any before. Adventure confidently with Honda, Car and Driver's most awarded brand in 10 Best history. The CR-V and CR-V Hybrid, part of the Honda line of rugged vehicles. Visit your local Honda dealer where new vehicles are arriving daily. Buy online or reserve from select Honda dealers.
Fentanyl is one of the most lethal drugs on the market. This much can kill thousands. These deadly drugs are pouring across our border. But Biden, Harris, and Democrats have done nothing to stop it. Tammy Baldwin claims she's trying, but she's failed. She took credit for an anti-fentanyl bill she didn't write and opposed efforts to secure the border. Senator Baldwin and Democrats have done nothing, and our communities are paying the price.
I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message.
I'm Joan Ballwig, and here at the shop, we have solutions, both big and small. And that's why I fought in Madison for historically large increases for our fire, police, and EMS, and made sure that our small businesses had the permits that they needed to operate. I delivered millions for ag and rural road funding and created the one-day fishing license. I brought both sides together to make sure that our kids can both read and write. And those are both really big things, but you get the idea.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Temperatures are on the cooler side this morning. It's still near normal this morning with a temperature current reading at 42. Our skies are mostly clear. Winds have calmed down. They were howling yesterday and even overnight. Really going to see those winds stay between about 15, 20 miles per hour at the most, so it's not going to be as breezy as yesterday, but still a little bit of a factor. At 10 a.m., we're looking at a temperature of 46. Noon, only 49. So temperatures are actually going to be about 5 to 10 degrees below average as we head for the afternoon, 52. The forecast high later in Madison. Clouds are going to increase, and then we're going to see isolated to even scattered showers move in. Not for the morning. I think we're talking about after lunchtime, late afternoon into the early evening. This is 4:30. I still think the best chance is going to be east and even northeast of Madison. And check it out, blue and pink even on the radar. That's mixed precipitation and actually some light snow. It's not in the forecast across southern Wisconsin. I think for the most part central and even northern Wisconsin, the UP going to see some of that. But our temperatures are still going to be warm as that travels south. You can see greens, maybe some yellows on radar for us. That's just rain and maybe a few pockets of heavier showers that we'll see later in the day. Tonight, we're going to see temperatures fall a little bit more than what we're waking up with this morning. That's not the coolest night. And then tomorrow, temperatures are actually going to be a few degrees cooler than even that 52 that we'll see this afternoon. Frost is possible tonight into tomorrow, but it's likely, I think, we're going to have to really watch for that Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. That's the coolest temperatures that we're going to see. This is just one of the models, but showing our temperatures falling, some of us as low as the mid to upper 20s. We will fall likely right near that 30-degree mark. Temperatures are much cooler west of here this morning, and that's in the forecast tonight. So there are freeze watches and warnings already out. Some of northern Illinois actually included in that, mainly west of Rockford. We could see that. We'll likely see that as early as tomorrow into Wednesday. That's when temperatures will drop to near 30. We have a couple of warmer days ahead too, and this weekend looking good. Could be near 70 degrees Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday next week.
Yeah, looking really nice Saturday and Sunday. Savannah, thank you.
You're welcome.
In the 608 this morning, we're helping celebrate Sauk Prairie's historic apples and the positive impact on the community over the years. Josh Breider is live in Prairie du Sac this morning with the story. Hey there, Josh.
Hey, Chris, good morning to you. We teased it earlier. We're planting a tree right behind Sauk Prairie Healthcare this morning, and we're learning a little bit about the historic impact of this. This morning, we have kind of a fun little tree for folks. We're working on planting this tree. Kurt Miney with the Sauk Prairie Conservation Alliance is joining us. Kurt, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for being
So you're going to
out
kind of
here.
talk us through it. You obviously prepped the hole because we'd only have about 3 minutes to do this, but let's go ahead and put the tree right in.
Absolutely. Let's just get it done. This tree is tree number 4. It comes from a historic farmstead out of Badger, and the family name was Steiber. The Steiber family was one of those families removed at the outset of World War II. There's still members of the Steiber family here, and maybe they can come walking by this tree and see it. But let's do this.
I love that.
I'm just going to pull this out.
All right.
You guys are going to help pour some sand into the hole. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, go.
There we go. So this is tree number 8 for the area. I've got the golden shovel here. This is the Sauk Prairie golden shovel.
Okay.
All right,
so
Todd,
you guys
let's put
just
some dirt over
sand
that.
around there, and we'll get some water on it afterwards.
So, Kurt, this is tree number 8. And
tree number 4.
Tree number 4,
Yeah.
okay. And let's talk about where these came from, because just even how they were grown is special for the area.
Yeah, so there are, within the boundaries of the old Badger Army Ammunition Plant lands, about 150 trees, maybe more, certainly more. And so we've been grafting those trees, because that's what you do if you want to get the apple you like. You have to graft. You can't plant the seed. So we started grafting, and this tree is, parent tree actually has died. Tree number 4 is no longer alive in the field, but we have grafted it several times, so it lives on through, and it's exactly genetically the same tree. So that's how we keep trees going, and we do that partly to honor the families whose land was taken over during World War II, but it's also a way of preserving the genetics of these trees. And we're learning a lot about the diversity of apples and why we need to reclaim the lost diversity that we had 100 years ago.
So obviously we're right here behind Sauk Prairie Healthcare. Why is a tree like this and planting this right here so healing for this area?
Yeah, well, it's This whole project is about healing past wounds. The wounds that came with the removal of the Ho-Chunk Nation back in the 1830s, the removal of these farm families at the outset of World War II, the loss of jobs by Army workers when the plant closed down in 1997, and so on. So this community, like every community, has difficult times in its past, but this is a simple way of healing those historic wounds. Apples are also good for you. So,
yeah.
And a symbol, as was mentioned earlier by Todd, of healing. So it works at several levels. But this hospital is also rooted in this community, right? It grows out of the soil just as apple trees do. So it's a way of kind of symbolically saying that we're all involved in our communities and we heal in many different ways.
Wonderful. Well, hey, thank you so much. Good job, by the way. It looks great. Looks great. Nice job, Todd. Thank you so much. You can see the other trees here, right here behind Sauk Prairie Healthcare this morning. Again, you can come check it out for yourself and also help celebrate the foundation here at the healthcare. We know we need to support them over time. I have all those details up on channel3000.com. We learned a little bit more about that around 6:15, so we'll have that segment up for you on channel3000.com as well. But what do you think, Chris? Nothing like planting a tree on live TV, especially with the golden shovel of Sauk Prairie Healthcare. Something new and exciting here in the 608.
Love to see it. Well done, guys. Can't wait to see what it's gonna look like. 6:50. Hey, by the way, remember to let Josh know what inspires you in the 608. A lot of your ideas wind up on TV, so reach out, let him know what you want to see. Coming up in the morning sprint, how climate change is affecting global health. And if you got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
Billionaire banker Eric Hovde has a plan for Social Security.
Do you favor either raising the retirement age or cutting benefits?
I favor both.
Raising the retirement age?
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Hovde wants to raise the retirement age as high as 72. And Hovde just proposed cutting Social Security by 28%, costing the average beneficiary more than $6,000 a year. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
You don't need to battle addiction alone. Contact the great people at Wood Violet Recovery today. You could be on your way to recovery the same day. Wood Violet Recovery works with a wide range of insurance networks, so a large portion of your treatment may be covered. Wood Violet Recovery will create the treatment plan that best suits your needs. Unlike other rehab facilities, phones and laptops are welcome. Today may feel dark, but there's a brighter tomorrow. Contact Wood Violet Recovery now.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member, Ramos was arrested for a gun crime. But as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. What have we got?
The Andersons. All night, tossing and turning, bad backs, sleep score at an all-time low.
Round up the team.
At Denver Mattress, going undercover is literally how we solve problems.
And when we find sleepers waking up with aches and pains, we turn to the Tempur-Pedic Adapt, designed for ultimate pressure relief that uniquely adapts to your body's pressure points. The Tempur-Adapt features innovative technology, so you get deep, undisturbed rest all night long.
Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right Tempur-Pedic.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I can honestly say that Cardinal has never let me down.
Cardinal is the place to go for any type of work that you need done around your home.
The kindness, the efficiency, the professionalism, the respect was amazing.
We were very impressed with their cleanliness.
I definitely recommend Cardinal Heat and Air Conditioning because of the professionalism, the communication they provided.
Cardinal will always be my first call for anything that Cardinal does.
I think we're going to continue to use Cardinal for a long time.
Wanakee Remodeling, your window replacement experts.
6:53, time for the morning sprint. Today marks 4 years since a murder at Devil's Lake State Park. Authorities are still yet to identify a suspect. Despite over 100 tips and hundreds of interviews, the case remains a mystery. A hiker found 24-year-old John Smutzer dead at the park 4 days ago today. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers. A Sun Prairie man's in custody this morning after driving his car into the Yahara River. Take a look. Crews spent a lot of the day yesterday pulling it out of the water. This is off Riverside Drive at Jennifer Street. Madison police discovered the driver of the car was someone they helped bring home the previous night. They arrested him for OWI and gave him 2 other citations. Meantime, a Watertown man's in custody for going 97 miles an hour on the interstate. It happened Sunday morning in Jefferson County. The speed limit there is 70 miles an hour. State Patrol troopers stopped a Chevy Equinox headed east near State Highway 26. The trooper arrested the driver for speeding on a freeway, OWI, and other citations. Dr. Jill Biden is back to speak in Madison today. She's set to discuss reproductive rights and the economy. The campaign has yet to release exactly when and where she'll speak. Vice President Jill nominee Tim Walz will also be in the state today. He's expected to stop in Eau Claire and Green Bay today. He'll kick off a bus tour of Democratic governors supporting the ticket. Former President Donald Trump, meantime, calling for bolstering Border Patrol staff. His latest campaign proposal includes hiring 10,000 additional Border Patrol agents. Those agents would get a signing bonus. A bipartisan border bill earlier this year included more funding for Border Patrol, but the former president called on Republican lawmakers to turn it down. The Pentagon is sending an advanced anti-missile system to Israel. U.S. troops will also head to the Middle East to help operate it. The Pentagon says it's to help bolster Israel's air defense. It comes after Iran's attacks against Israel most recently on October 1st. Tensions in the Middle East have risen since that attack. Climate change is causing a global health crisis. That's according to the European Society for Emergency Medicine. That also says increased severe weather is also leading to more diseases like malaria. They add that it's putting a strain on healthcare workers as well. There's also concern of disruptions of health supplies and services during severe weather catastrophes.
It'll be cool today, a little breezy, and we're tracking some scattered showers at least later in the day, and then widespread frost. That's possible as early as tomorrow. I think that's more likely Tuesday night into Wednesday, when we will likely see frost or even freeze warnings get put in place. It's gonna be a cold morning.
Yeah, getting us ready for the winter.
Definitely bring those coats out.
All right, thanks, Savannah. We're back in 30 minutes.